I see AI like humans. Humans beings have infinite potential to be evil and an infinite potential to be good. Same thing with AI.
I don't know if you've noticed, but your ability to see into the future seems to get shorter and shorter by the day. And nobody has the answer. And if you listen to other speakers and thought leaders out there, it's either utopia or doom and gloom. The mental slothfulness of the working class will keep them where they are.
There's a lot of opportunity that these technologies can bring for a lot of people.
Be like water. Water always finds a way.
You need to figure out what field you're in and how AI can.
Welcome to another edition of Mindset Profits. Let's talk about AI and not just what it is, but let's have a very practical, insightful, and actionable conversation. Something that when you listen to, you can do something about, because AI is coming. Technology is evolving faster than people's skills, faster than people's qualifications. And it's no longer the question of, is it coming? It's here. The question is, are your skills keeping up? Is your earning keeping up? Are you keeping up? And where do you sit here? I've got two powerful gentlemen. One, Mr. William, who is back on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Like a third time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Prepare yourself for some unique thinking, contrarian thinking.
Yes, that's me.
And Mr. James, who speaks on AI and the power of AI in Africa. So introduce yourselves and give some context, especially where you sit in this AI conversation. And then we're going to have a practical masterclass.
Sure. So I'm James.
James, the radio voice now.
The radio voice.
I need to correct him. He's wrong already when he started. Dr. James Maisiri.
Yeah, okay. I'm still getting used to it. I mean, I passed my oral defense a couple of months ago, so I guess the title change. Still getting used to that. But you're right. Dr. James Maisiri. Sounds good. Yeah, so I completed my doctorate at the University of Johannesburg. My research was looking at how AI, Internet of Things and robotics affects migrant labor. So I do a lot of research and publication on AI and how it affects the African market. Now I'm interested in how AI affects the education sector in the African market. I'm a big believer that if Africa does not shape AI, then AI will shape Africa. That is
as profound as that sounds. What do you mean?
Okay, so right now a lot of AI technologies are created within the global north in Western societies, and they create it for their own problems. And so what happens is we copy paste their technology onto the African context, and there's a mismatch at times, right? Because they solved it for their problems and not necessarily for our problems. And there are cases where that causes adverse effects or effects that we didn't even see coming. So we need to produce, I'm a big believer, we need to produce our own AI for our own problems to take our mark forward. And that's me in a nutshell.
All right, cool.
It's great. And I agree with you. You know, there's a mismatch. And we've spoken about this at length with my beef with the startup industrial complex, that the whole of Africa, when it comes to creating entrepreneurs, use Silicon Valley, their approach. And it's irrelevant, non-contextual, too slow, too expensive, and it doesn't fit our needs. And we're pumping billions of dollars every year into entrepreneurship development, and we have none. I'm not seeing this economic upheaval considering the price. So I think what you're saying, James, is that already we have a proof of concept that this doesn't work from a startup perspective. So now we're bringing higher thinking and perspectives and elements of the West into Africa. There's going to be a massive mismatch, but also maybe a change that we don't really want.
Okay.
So you lose your voice and you lose yourself. But yeah, where I come from, I'm William Gaus. I'm a professional international speaker and author and I talk about adaptive leadership and action, because for me, the AI journey, it was last year, April, when I was expanding my coaching business internationally, because I was voted Startup Coach of the Year 2025 for Africa.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I just looked at the use cases of AI around advisory. Specifically, a case we looked at was psychology, and people in the beginning preferred the human being over time, the AI, because it was less judgmental. Who would have thought? And
so people went to AI for a therapist.
yeah, because it was less judgmental, it's more available. So that's disappearing. And we came to the conclusion that in the next 5 years, maybe 3% of coaches might be able to make a living out of it. The rest will do it as a hobby. And that led to an existential crisis for me. So now I go like, what now? And my work in entrepreneurship, where I get unemployed people to start a profitable business in 5 weeks.
So you feel AI is challenging it now?
Well, it's challenging. And I think we're in a unique situation where, for the first time in history, kids, students, parents, employees, and business leaders were all sitting in the same boat. And we look to the future and we go, how the hell are we going to navigate this? Because I don't know if you've noticed, but your ability to see into the future seems to get shorter and shorter by the day. And nobody has the answer. And if you listen to other speakers and thought leaders out there, it's either utopia or doom and gloom. And I'm bringing a third perspective. And that's the human perspective of, where do you fit in? Leave the technology. Where do you fit into with everything? So instead of hating it, instead of just thinking it's going to go that way, how do we prepare the human race to thrive in a world of perpetual change and uncertainty?
All right. So first off, do you guys always agree?
No.
Your views?
No, we do have common views, but we don't always agree.
So you're free to disagree here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Let's start with this. Should people be scared of AI or embrace AI? Because what is happening, like you highlighted, it's taking away some jobs. I'm sure it's creating opportunities for other types of jobs as well. But in general, when you listen to the conversations, you look at the research that you've done, where should people be? Because you're on preparing the humankind for the reality that exists and that's coming. But many are afraid.
Yes.
So I think that it depends from the perspective of where you're standing. There's serious reasons to be scared of this technology. There's serious reasons to be concerned of job displacement. Where in my study, in my doctorate study, there was a machine that was doing the work of 60 workers within a pack house, a grading machine, right? That's 60 workers that could do that potential technology. But there's also...
So 60 jobs eliminated.
Yes, 60 jobs that could have been potentially there. Like, I don't know if the machine came and then 60 people went. All I know is that machine can do 60 people's jobs, right? That could have been there. But also at the same time, there's a lot of opportunity that these technologies can bring for a lot of people, even employment-wise. I mean, there's a PwC study last year which showed that African employees are very optimistic compared to other parts of the world in terms of using this particular technology, AI. And the reason for that may be, or the way I see it, is because African jobs are insecure. The realities are a little bit bleak compared to the global north. So when Africans see this technology, they're seeing it as an opportunity to solve problems, whereas people in the global north may see it as something that's taken away from it. So Africans are taking the opportunity to are looking at this technology as a way out of whatever situation they're in. And a lot of millionaires and within the next 10 years will come out from those who adapt this technology appropriately within this context.
What do you see on this?
Yeah, so you should be excited and extremely scared at the same time. In my keynotes, I talk about, it's a pharmacon. So pharmakon is an ancient Greek philosophical concept. And a pharmakon means a poison and a cure at the same time.
So AI is poison and cure.
And a cure, yes. Depends on the dosage. You take one headache tablet, takes your headache away. Take the bottle, you die. And this is the situation. So it's how do you manage that? How do you manage that polarity? And how do you manage your position within that? Because both are happening. If you just go fully AI and let it do everything to you, I think we've been talking about a few articles that show the cognitive decline if you just hand over your thinking to the machine.
So AI is making people not so smart.
No.
If you give your thinking to it, but if you use it as a thinking partner, it increases your cognitive agency and ability. So for me, I look at, because people are like, yeah, it'll create other jobs. No, it won't. Very little. Not like previously. It's going to be very little. And I think it was a speech by Gawdat that he said the other day that it's going to be a painful 5 to 10 years where we're going to face unemployment rates between 40 and 60% in many industries.
I get
that's going to be hectic. So for me, what I'm looking at is how are you becoming resilient, resourceful, and adaptable? So even if the technology works well with us, you can accelerate. And even if it comes to all the negativity, you can survive. So how do you fit into that? So for me, it's less of a technology question and more of a human question.
I look at what you're saying and I'm asking myself who should be more scared then, because I'm looking at situations where some people can see that their skills are becoming irrelevant quickly and that the degrees that they studied are becoming irrelevant, and that's happening.
I think let's not use the label irrelevant.
Okay.
I think maybe you would agree with me on this one. Expiry date. The expiry date. So you bought milk.
Worse than mine.
Exactly. I want you to feel it. Yeah, because you bought milk and it's in the fridge, and the expiry date is, let's say, 10 days from now. Tomorrow morning you open it up and you go like, it's down to 7 days, but only 1 day has passed. And then next day you go like, oh, I have 3 days left. And so the validity where we used to study for a degree, and then that carries me for a lifetime, that's gone.
But we should also be cognizant of the fact that this is the story of human history, that technology comes and it does absorb the skills that human beings do. And human beings tend to have to upskill and have to go into other new industries that come up and new jobs are created, right? So for example, I hope I say this right. If you go back to the 1800s, before the first industrial revolution in Britain, 80% of the population was in agriculture. By 1850, that had dropped to 20%. The other people went to go new industries, new textile factories, went to do other things. So while technology is absorbing a lot of human skills, it's now up to you to upskill yourself as a human being or as an organization to see how you can upskill your employees to be in the front of the wave that is changing right now.
Okay.
I mean, just to support that, the World Economic Forum did a future report last year, which is one of the biggest labor market studies. I'm talking 55 countries, 22 industries. And they basically said that if the global workforce only had 100 people, 59 of those individuals will have to upskill within the next 5 years. And about 36 to 39% of the current workforce skills in the labor market would have expired within the next some years.
Yeah. So I agree with that, but
so you're both more leaning on we should be scared.
Yeah. So what I want to say there, what was the one point you made just now?
With the expiry date.
Not the expiry date.
Job creation.
When you look at in history, yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so then the tractor came and people didn't have to work on the field, but this is different. historically technological advancements has been replacing our strength and our ability to do something, mainly strength, not our dexterity and not our
Mind.
cognitive ability. Now, that's going to be cognitive. So the tractor is not just going to replace people. The tractor will drive itself.
Which is already happening, like especially in the
Already
agricultural
happening.
sector.
If you look at the robotics now, the latest robot hands have a tolerance of 0.2 millimeters. So remember those lead pencils that we used and you have to thread? It can do that now. So where we had our strength, the TLB took that over, the tractor took that over and everything else. And now the robots will be doing our dexterity, but also our cognitive ability. So what do we have to offer?
I remember having a conversation with artisans, and it looks like when they did their own studies, for them it became all the other technologies before, like you said, we're replacing our strength. Now this is coming to replace cognitive ability, which means we are the last people to be scared. Like plumbers, electricians, they just need to be there doing their thing. All of us in the offices using our laptops, we are getting replaced.
I would say yes. I would say yes-ish. They're right in a way, but the people who are building humanoid systems are right behind them. But also just to respond, I think he's absolutely right. The fact that this is the first time where we have a technology that's replacing our cognitive and our physical effort, right? But I see AI like humans. Human beings have an infinite potential to be evil and an infinite potential to be good. Same thing with AI. Now we have a system that is supplementing our IQ. Like you can get a 200 IQ increase points from AI, which will allow us as human beings to potentially create things in industries that we've never ever seen before. Maybe we'll expect a PhD student to do 3 PhDs in order to qualify. I mean, if they're borrowing a 300 IQ point score from AI systems. So I'm saying this to say that there's absolutely a need for alarm with these technologies, but it's not a deterministic pathway. There are ways to regulate and to steer the pathway towards human flourishing, just like most technological changes. Yeah.
You said AI has the power to be good and evil. You put it better than I put it now. But what are use cases for people who can use it for either? What did you find in your studies?
For evil, look at what they're doing in the military, right? There was a case, is it 2004, 2020, or is it 2024 or 2023? I forget, where Israel used AI systems, and those AI systems contributed to them killing civilians in Palestine by mistake.
That's out in the public.
That's out in the public. That's out in the public.
It's not a Muslim.
It's not right. So there are definitely evil cases. I think that's why on Anthropic, I hope I'm saying that right, refused to give the American government access to their systems. Maybe I'm putting it too harshly there. But because of that, like the military wanted to use it for surveillance. The military wanted to, the military department wanted to use it for evil. So we're very capable of using these technologies.
So I presume scammers can...
cybersecurity.
Apart from that, look at a virus. I might not know anything about virology, but now I can.
Yeah. You can literally go to these systems and ask it to build you like all of these case in point.
If you can jailbreak it, you're on like a scone.
But you can also use it for good, right? We're building medicines off it.
Look at the protein folding that happened, but that was 2014 with Watson originally. Protein folding that really accelerated things, but I think that leans more towards: do we need general AI or narrow AI? And I lean way more to narrow AI.
Explain the difference.
So general AI is we're building our own replacement. People go like, it's a model race. It's not. The race is about who owns the means of production for the world. That's it. He who wins owns the means of production. Just saying. Narrow AI approaches it from a tool perspective. So you have an AI that just does cancer. That's it. And then you have an AI that just does marketing. And then one that does, so it's specificity.
Okay.
So it's not so it becomes a tool, a deep tool. So I have a 500 IQ cancer AI that I work with. And its purpose is to look at and find solutions to cancer. But what we're currently building is our replacement. And my question is, did we all agree on that? Go like, yes, I'm down with this. I don't think so, because I didn't sign up for this. Yeah.
All right, cool. You are more on the human side. And you say you're not on the be scared, be excited. You're on the human side. What should someone looking at what we're talking about be doing now to stay relevant and keep up with what's happening?
So I think relevance, the window of relevance is going to get shorter and shorter. It's going to be like Morse code. You have a short, two longs and a short. So that's how it's going to go. For you, what you need to look at is at what rate of change can you adapt, understand, and adapt to a new environment. And using the resources that you have and finding new perspectives. Because now you might do something. If I look at my son finishes school next year. He might have 30, 40 careers throughout his lifetime. So ask yourself, whom do I need to be if I had to do 30 different careers through my lifetime? What does that mean cognitively? And that's what I'm trying to fix through my work, is to focus on human adaptability.
So you're looking at, if I'm listening and say I want to apply this, I need to look at in the next 5 years, what do I need to learn to be way in my career? How does that look like?
So I think 5 years is what do I need to do now? Yeah. What's the next step? Because I'd say 12 months. That's a good window that you might have. I think what's that FP&A study, the financial planning study that came out, what was it, 68% of business leaders said they couldn't.
It was 63% of American and European organizations said that they cannot plan beyond 6 months into the future. And 39% of the study said they cannot plan 3 months into the future. So because of the vast changes that are happening within the labor market, businesses are struggling to plan.
The labor and technology.
Yeah.
And then you take the economic situation to account as well. So we're literally getting it everywhere.
So what does the learning look like? Because I'm tempted to think everyone will listen to this and think, let me learn AI, but there's no school that's teaching me, so I'm going to learn AI from AI. What am I doing practically?
I think you should be playing with as much AI tools as possible to build your AI intuition, right? Because there are a lot of changes that are happening real fast. I can't say go to a specific technical school or whatnot, even though they are there. But a lot of that is also being absorbed. If you look at, especially in the coding, in the coding space, the next big wave are AI agents, right? Which are kind of like autonomous systems that can go online, do bookings, can click, AI agents that can click for you and whatnot. I think the people who can deploy and manage AI agents and sell that to different businesses are going to do extremely well. I think that's going to be the next pull or the wave of where things are going.
All right. Do you want to add?
Yes. So if you look at currently, and if you just take the chat version into account, you are basically working with an intern. Do this, do this, do this. And with an agent, it's very similar. But many of them will make their own decisions. Look at OpenClaw, how it started making decisions on its own. It needed to call a dealer to negotiate a better price on a pickup.
Okay.
So it got the information on how to simulate voice and then make a phone call. So it did that by itself. But now, for now, I'm working and I'm learning to work with an intern. Well done. But now they bring the next model and the next model and next model, and your thinking is still at intern level. But now you're not dealing with an intern anymore. You are dealing with Einstein. So you're telling Einstein to go and do something with a minimum of context, and he comes back and you go, stupid Einstein. Yeah, you did bad. But you need to communicate at their level and instruct at their level and capability. So that's where you need to, that's where the main adaptability comes in, is how do I adapt my workflows, my thinking, and how I view things and see resources in my environment.
Okay.
And adapting is the right word. I don't know. It's just that I forget her name. The previous VC of Cape Town. She's a lady, well known in South Africa. She's a prof. Well known. I feel like someone has to get the trigger word. She has a YouTube channel where just last week where somebody showed her how to build an AI agent, even if you're not technical with other AI systems, right? Because you can prompt AI to help you with the coding or whatnot. So these are opportunities right now within Africa that you can take a grasp of and you can move forward to.
Okay.
If you Google Alex Mudere, I hope I didn't destroy that surname, where somebody created an AI app, right, supported by government, where they're giving subsistence small rural farmers who don't have access to education an AI app to be an expert agricultural guide for them, where they take pictures of leaves. The AI analyzes those leaves, tells them what pest is within the area, what worms, and how to do. And they're showing significant improvement in their agricultural growth within those specific rural areas. You could build that and go into these small communities within Africa and provide that type of service for them, right? So I'm saying that there are many opportunities you need to open your eyes to and not be too consumed in the doom of gloom of the things that AI could scare you, of the things that are scary about AI, even though they are real. But like I said, it's just how the human being steers the wheel.
Yeah, and that's why I think a short-term view of adaptability is a better idea, because I can see in my own life, I'm literally caught between the short-term and the long-term, because long-term, I look at my son's face every day and I think about long-term. It's forced to go upon me. I have to think and worry for him. I don't want to have these discussions yet because he is asking these things. But then also in a short-term thing, I look at what I do on a daily basis and go, oh, how can I improve this? How might I get an agent? Because I used to work a lot with interns, but now I go like, do I need interns anymore?
AI agents can do
I can do this type of thing. And how do I fit that into a workflow to accelerate what I'm trying to achieve?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at the friction side of it, because even if I want to learn AI, the encounter for many people is 1,000 people go in, they try to learn how to work and use AI, discover that there's a learning curve, especially when you talk about adding agents and stuff. There's a learning curve, and not many people go through that phase.
Why not?
Because learning is uncomfortable for many.
Well, suck it up, buttercup.
I don't know if I can give an alternative.
Yeah, no, it's one of those.
I don't know if I can give an alternative.
Yeah, sink or swim.
Is it not something you've seen?
Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve, but I think the world of AI does not always have to be technical. Like I wouldn't consider myself within the technical element.
And I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
because I can have a conversation with you like, I have this cunning plan. And then expand on that cunning plan. Yeah.
And there's so many stories you hear of people who would ask AI, like, this is what I want to build. Tell me, how do I build it? And it tells you how to build it. You take that answer, you put it into another AI and say, criticize this or improve this in what way. Then that AI, and you have like AI systems kind of arguing. Just to give you a perspective of how things are changing and or whatnot. There's a case of, in 2025, Jason Lincoln, who's a world known. He's a well-known people within the service delivery world, right? He basically had 20 AI agents replace his sales department. He trained his AI agents based on his best sales performers, and these AI agents are now sending out messages. They're doing follow-up calls, right? And these calls are not like the voice note you hear with Siri or the conversation you have with Siri. These sound like humanistic calls. There's office background noises. The AI even coughs to sound, somewhat humanistic, right?
I want a really tired old lady who smokes go like,
right?
Yeah.
But I say that to say that in one way you can look at that like, oh, what does that happen to the sales department? In another way, you hear cases of individual peoples in their homes creating these AI agents, creating these departments to start a business to do something great. So it's an opportunity as well as it is a disadvantage, depending on your perspective and your ability to adapt, right? Maybe you wouldn't want to be the salesperson in that department, but you can walk out of there with that information and pivot to the next thing, right? So yeah.
Let's put it in life stages, because I'm seeing people in their 20s, because they will come in, learn this thing faster and make a whole lot of money. There's people in their 30s, people in their 40s that have been in jobs for a very long time, and now they're scared to learn a new thing because you got comfortable.
I think that is a wild assumption. That
No. I'm just generalizing.
No, because I know a few guys who are social media experts. So when they told me they're in their 60s, and when they go to conferences, it's older guys.
That's where I wanted to go.
Lead the thing, because they do the work.
But look at numbers. How many are evolved enough to use technology well in their 50s?
I want to add something else, because you really had a few good points there. And I think what we need to look at, I think it was not The Psychology of Money. It was a book written in 1912. And the guy said, the mental slothfulness of the working class will keep them where they are forever. And if thinking is too much effort for you, you're not going to survive this. You're going to drown in this wave of change. Okay?
Thinking and learning.
And getting back, so many people are on autopilot. You're an aware person. How many times have you met a person who's just been on autopilot for 30 years? Oh, we'll be fine.
Don't have to look far. I've been that person too.
Yeah, no. I've been there as well. And I think what we need to, and you said we can use these systems greatly. And that brings us to the human activation side of, it's great to have these opportunities. But if you don't have a thought of, I am here, I think I could be there, how might this technology help me get there? If you don't have a greater vision, a greater purpose, a greater outcome, you're not going to learn anything. You're going to go through AI after AI training. It's going to benefit you nothing, because you're going to know the tool. It's like, I learned how to swing a hammer, but I haven't learned how to do woodworking. There's a difference between knowing the tools and using it.
And how to make it work.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do through my work, is to turn people into master craftsmen of whatever they want to be. Their vision, their purpose, their view of the world. Now you can.
What does your work look like? Do you take anyone in any profession and help them work with these technologies?
So for me, I'm technology agnostic. For me, I don't focus on the technology. I just focus on the person. So I teach it in schools, universities, and businesses. And I have a proprietary framework that I created for that. It's the Adaptive Action Compass. Because if you look at, why do I call it the compass? Strategy, planning, business planning, all of that is based on map thinking. And a map assumes that the terrain remains the same. But now the terrain changes on a weekly basis. So maps are irrelevant. While a compass shows you which direction to go, even though you can't see the destination.
Okay.
And that's the purpose. And we cover 5 core principles in that. First in it is agency. You need to take charge of your own life. Stop being a passenger and being the driver. If you complain a lot about life, you need to rethink your life and go like, how do I grab hold of the steering wheel? Then we look at flow forward. I like to describe it as a Taoistic principle. Be like water. Water always finds a way. And that's the key thing. When most people go like, excuse, there's nothing. You need to go, okay, what now? What? Be like water. Then we look at adjustability. What do I need to start doing, stop doing, changing what I'm doing, keeping what I'm doing? When a lot of people go like, just do something else, do something different. That's very nice. But what they forget is when it comes to these things, it happens on a cognitive, emotional, and physical level.
Yeah.
And then what makes this process so great is it involves emotion. So already there we've had on the cognitive, emotional, and physical side. But then we have bounce back ability. And that's your emotional resilience. What do I need to let go of, make peace with, reframe, whom can I call? Because, and that's south on the compass, because when things go south, emotions go up.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we have resourceability. Have you ever seen a child sit with a box of Lego and go like, Uncle and Tandu, do you have instructions? You're going like, are you broken? Is there something wrong with you? And in that, I awaken the Lego playing child within people. Instead of going, I have nothing. Like I sit with people when I work in townships with my nonprofit work. Once you go through this process, you're like, hang on, I live in a city with streets of gold. This is truly Egoli. And that's what I teach in schools, universities, and businesses, because it's about making people resilient, resourceful, and adaptable. And in an academic environment, it's about improving academic success, employability, economic participation, but also mental well-being. Because most people look at this and they go into a frizz, a panic, they freeze. Because this thing hanging over them is so big. How the hell do we handle this? And now with this, when you go through that thinking framework, you find that you have a way to move forward.
Okay.
And if I think I completely agree that it's based on the individual agency for you to continuously learn. But I just want to expand that a little, because you asked what do you do with the 30, 40-year-old, 20, like what stages?
Different life stages.
I want to give a different perspective to also put that within the people who make regulations at governmental hands, right? So for example, Dr. Mark Nasila suggests that South Africa should have a minister of job creation. In the same yeah, well,
don't we have one?
We have that's the distinctions I'm about to make, because we have a minister of labor, right? Okay. So he points out that in Canada there's minister of jobs and family, right? And in China there's a minister of human resources and social security, I believe, right? And their job is to look, especially in China, is to look at the vast technological change that's happening and to ensure that there's actual creation and retraining of people within that particular society to be able to adapt, whether that's to go give free programs to older people or, who are in the 30s and 40s who have no interest of going back to university within that particular age. So it's to get the government involved in that. And Dr. Nasila's critique for the Department of Labor is that it focuses on the demand side, on the reactive side of what's happening within the labor market right now. What we need is a minister of job creation that focuses on creating new jobs of AI agents. Like if there's AI agents that's coming out, why aren't there programs within the ground right now, which is for to teach new people on how to use this particular AI agents or to build AI systems or to be in front of the curve, someone who's in charge of that. In the same way that when we had the electricity crisis, President Cyril Ramaphosa removed, there was a Ministry of Energy and Minerals, right? And he created a ministry or minister of electricity to specifically focus on that and zoning on that problem in 2023 when they have electricity problems. So we need somebody. We need a government department or a government branch that strictly focuses on upskilling people for the new world that's coming.
I agree and completely disagree with that. Spot on to do that. We need that. And then we're going to sit with the same crisis that we sit with the startup industrial complex. Because there's every second incubator. I remember I was speaking in Uzbekistan at UNESCO, and there's one guy from somewhere in Asia. No, we did pitch training with 5,500 people, and we did Lean Startup Weekend with 2,500. And then when Q&A come, some British guy was like, excuse me, you know what were the outcomes? Because when Willem goes into such an environment, he creates jobs, he creates businesses, alleviates poverty, local economic development. What did you do? The point I want to make there is, if you look at the startup industrial complex, I use an image in all my talks around that industry, and it's a sports car being towed by a donkey.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because the startup industrial complex just focuses on the business, but they never develop the engine.
Which for you to be the human.
And that for me is the concern, because I've seen the results. People think lean startup, business model, canvas, all of those things are entrepreneurship education. It had nothing, zero to do with entrepreneurship development. That is management education. That's a tool that me as an entrepreneur chooses to use or not to use. It's not the only tool. But for me now, it's about developing the human being. That's why I'm having success with my program in townships, simply by changing how somebody thinks. I get somebody from unemployed, no income, to a profitable business in 5 weeks without external funding by changing how they think. So I agree with you when you say we need a minister of job creation. Fully agree. You know what? And Dr. Nasili, spot on. And we can even touch on the topic of his latest book about having AI within your own systems.
Okay.
But here's the thing. It's not about the tool. It's about the craftsman that uses the tool. We can teach people AI, and we're like, yeah, I know AI. Okay, what are you doing with it? I don't know. So now we need to awaken. And that's why James and I originally started talking, because he saw what's happening to labor. And we met at the speaking event. And I said, I like what you're saying. And I agree with you. He said, yeah, we need to solve this problem. I said, hey, hold my coffee. Let me show you what I do. and that's where we started talking together. So for me, I agree with you. But then we need the Ministry of Human Awakening, or something like that, that awakens the human being. Because I think this is a second awakening of human beings that we need to go into. And that's what I'm trying to do with my work, is a second wave of enlightenment.
Okay. As we get close to a wrap, I'm curious I know you said you don't use the technology as much because your focus is more on building the human
Oh, I
side.
live with it day and night.
That's what I want to find out.
Yes.
What are some of the use cases for you?
So for me, so my AI is specifically set up. You will see in the settings, it says, be honest and critical. Answer in simple, plain British English that a 10-year-old child can understand. And you are my thinking partner. You are here to provide alternative perspectives and viewpoints and to expand my thinking. And if you're not more than 70% sure about an answer, tell me that you don't know, and then suggest a new way of getting to it. And I was writing an article the other day, and while I was walking, I was having a discussion with Claude around my thinking and perspective. And that was an 1.5 hour discussion that we had to get clarity about my thinking. But what about this? How can we shoot holes into this? And so that's how I use that. but I use it a lot with my writing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I put almost as much time into prepping with AI as I would just sit down and write. But now I know I've stress tested my thinking. I've had alternative perspectives. And that's a great thing. So I use Claude, I use Gemini, I let go of ChatGPT.
Why?
Claude is much better at writing. And specifically when it comes to its project structure, it's really great. And I have projects for certain workflows within my business that I do that. So when I have one project just with quotes. So now when I sit down and have to do a proposal, well, I used to write a 12-page proposal. Now I'll sit there for 30 minutes and brainstorm with it and get a nice 13-page proposal out with my thinking in my language or voice, just like that. But if you look at, you and I both live in Notebook LM.
Yeah.
Life without Notebook LM would be not much fun.
What do you use it for?
Learning, purely to understand concepts, because it can create overview videos, slide decks, podcasts for you automatically, which I can interact with it as well. But one use case that I love using for that, so if I read a book, it's nice. You read a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I always tell people, you read too much and you learn too little. So stop reading so much and start assimilating. Read the same book 5 times. So what I do now, I will get a PDF copy. If the author sells it, I'll buy the PDF copy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then add that to Notebook LM plus my speaker profile. And I'll say, do a chapter by chapter analysis of the learnings. And at the end of each chapter, show me how those learnings look like in my business as a speaker.
Nice.
Cunning plan. See, because now I use AI to help me assimilate that knowledge into my world.
Mm.
Yes. Okay, so this is how it fits in.
Do you use the free version?
No, I pay. I love paying because then it gives me the right to complain.
Where are you on this, James?
Yeah,
How are you using AI?
I use AI for literally everything. I even make music. With AI.
Or for fun?
Yeah, for fun. So I'll maybe make a song about my own life experience, maybe saying, give me a positive affirmation, literally having the words James there. And I just make the lyrics, make the beats, I make a lot of music with AI. I use Suno. I use Suno. There's another one. Is it called ID? Or I might be saying that wrong. It's a Chinese one.
No, I just know Suno.
Okay, cool. It's a Chinese one. So yeah. I use it for administrative work. I use it for research. So if I come up with a great idea, I put it and I say, where on earth could I be wrong with this idea? And we have an argument until the idea is refined as much as possible. I use it for, as I was referring to Notebook LM, for learning, right? Because I touch on different fields. Like in the last 3 weeks, I've been very interested in quantum field theory from quantum physics, right? And I'm not smart enough. I don't know how those guys figure all that type of stuff out to read the maths and all that type of stuff. And AI really holds my hand to understand that literature, right? So you can apply that to anything in your life. I mean, whatever you're nerdy about, it's a brilliant teacher, and it will teach you in simple terms. It will teach you in a video diagram, like you create an animation video for you with the most complex quantum physics theory. Like, you just get it like in 20 minutes or whatever, that specific concept.
I use it to prepare for radio interviews quite a bit. So I will look at the research that I got, which I'll read through, but then I'll create a 20-minute podcast that just goes over the different statistics from the different, and as I'm driving to the interview, I'm listening.
You can listen to it.
Yeah, and it's on the ball, it's right there, and I get that. So I think from a one-man band, if I had to use that term, you and I use it a lot for productivity. I mean, deep research. I ran one the other day and I was paying attention to what it was doing, and it was visiting 1,037 websites, and the whole report was finished in 15 minutes.
Which is what you would have needed a week to.
Yeah. And now Gemini is incorporating Notebook LM into Gemini. So now I can have a chat with Gemini and I can select 3 or 4 different notebooks into that. And now it becomes super powerful. So when it comes to learning, but again, make the decision. Most people learn it in a purposeless way. You learn it to learn something about. You use it to learn, to administrate, to create. And the same thing with me. And even to manage certain elements and make sense. I think that's a great way. But we need to awaken that in people to go like, yeah, like, what about this? And not a lot of people saying that.
I'll close with the last question in people's minds. When they hear AI, and I want to hear what your take is. How do I use AI to make money?
Okay, for me, like it goes back to the previous question you asked, what do you use AI for, right? I'm a researcher, so I'll use AI for the field I'm in. You need to figure out what field you're in and how AI can specifically help you. I think that's a specific context type of question than a general question.
I kept
a specific type of question than a general question.
Well, how does it make money for me? Simple. Go and figure out ways to make money with what you know. So I know how to have an opinion and speak. So then I can go. I'm a contrarian and I'm good on stage. I can speak. How might I make money using this skill? I think that's a good start. So you would go as a researcher. I am a researcher. I'm amazing. How would I make money? How can I make money? And give me 5 ways of do a deep research report on how researchers make money or speakers. And then you go through that and then you play around with these types of things and you start there. But who's leading this? I am. Most people go like, yeah, I'm going to get some bot to do something for me. I'm going to push a button and it's going to make money. Sure. Right. Yeah. For me, that's a double thumbs up. That is the most condescending response you can give to somebody.
So it's basically you go and tell AI what you're good at, what you know, your background, and say, how can I make money with this?
And start there. And as you grow, you can go, like he said, he's interested in quantum field theory. So now you go, okay, so I'm interested in getting into that. And then you go, but again, listen to the words I use. I'm using it as a thinking partner, not telling me, how should I make money? I go like, oh, you should do this, because it's sycophantic. I mean, if I had to tell most AIs, we're having a heat wave in South Africa and I have to go to a family funeral. I was thinking of wearing a G-string Speedo because it's going to be cool. Do you think it's a good idea? I go, well, considering the weather.
Idea.
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, and that's when you offload your cognitive ability to something. You're not the thought leader, you're the thought follower. But in our use cases, we are the thought leaders.
And that's what is important.
Yes, that is definitely what is important. Just find out what your context is and then research on how AI can specifically help in your context. And I feel like with Africa, with specific unique problems, they are not necessarily copy-paste Western AIs, but you can use those particular AIs and try and create your own version to help within this context. So I was just thinking about Strive Maisiri was talking about how there was a girl who created an app with specifically in Kenya to help farmers, like the one I told you about in Malawi, and she's making a lot of money she created a business for herself. In this particular example, it's a private business, right? That's a unique opportunity within the African context where agriculture is the primary employer. So you go into those spaces and you just, you figure it out. Yeah.
So you're looking at problems that are existing in your environment and asking AI, how can I make money looking at these challenges?
Within your lane. Yeah. And do research. I mean, it's not only just about asking AI, read,
Yeah.
pick up a
When
book.
it gives you an output or a deep research report, read it. Yeah, go actually read it. I know it's maybe a 20-page, 18-page report. Read it. Make sense of it. Question it, query it, push back.
Yeah.
I mean, just to support that, Artificially Institute did a research with 1,000 people.
Yeah, it was 1,200.
Just about 1,002 people. And they found that professionals who use AI deeply in their own profession, like every single day, right? But they are involved within the reasoning processes, don't experience any cognitive offloading. They actually do much better. But professionals who are not involved in the reason processing and they just offload AI to do the work tend to do much worse. Yeah. So it's about the human judgment and you being actually involved and double checking what AI says and co-creating together. That will bring the solution to you, whether you're a nurse, whether you're wherever you are. You can figure it out. I can only speak about research because I'm a researcher.
Well, I like the term that they used in that paper, and it was relating. The term they used was cognitive agency. And those who use it a lot and part of the thinking process, their cognitive agency increases. Those who just offload, their cognitive agency reduces.
I like simple English better. AI can make you smarter, it can make you dumb. Depending on how you use it.
Well, you're the average of the 5 AIs you hang out with the most.
That's going to be 100 years' time. That would be
let me quote Willem Gaus. Well,
the 5 AIs
you use the most.
Interesting one.
Yeah, I think I should write a blog post on that.
Well, it's going to be on the podcast. So it's going to be a reference.
Watch my LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn and you'll probably get the article. Remind me while we drive back so I can make a note.
But I think to cap it off, whatever you need to do, AI can help you make it better. Apply for a job, you can do it better. Send an email. If you choose and use it well.
Yes.
If you choose to use it and you give your parting shots, what do you want people to remember?
There's a new world that's coming, and it's changing drastically. Actively be involved in that specific change. Don't be tempted to take I don't want to call it the victimhood seat where this is happening to me, but be inspired that this could happen for you and figure out what's happening. This has happened throughout human race, like through human history. I know some people find that point flippant, but if looking at the previous industrial revolutions, these conversations are very common in every technological change. Be the change. There's a lot of human flourishing coming up. Yeah.
Okay,
great. Yeah, my parting shot is learn to surf. You're standing in the ocean, you're waist deep, and you can see this wave of change and uncertainty coming, and you can feel the water rise against your chest already. So either you learn to surf that wave of change and use it to your advantage like a surfer would, use it to move forward, have fun, enjoy life, or you're going to get washed away or maybe drowned by it. So your choice. Become resilient, resourceful, and adaptable.
I almost said amen. But oh well.
Preach, Brother Willem, preach.
Thank you for joining us till this time. Let us know what you think. I'm curious. Let me know in the comments how you are using AI. Where are you? Which side of this conversation?
Yeah, and also maybe comment what are your biggest fears?
Yeah, what is your biggest fear around AI?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, we can have another cup of coffee and analyze the comments.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you in the next episode. And do let us know in the comments what you think. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, yes.
Is that
nice?
Cool,
well
cool.
done.
Cool. Thank you.
I should not fist bump people with